Hi everyone, it's me, New York vocalist Benita Charles, for another episode of Singing Tips. How's everyone doing this evening? It is a little late for singing tips, but I just thought, you know what, I'm going to pop on anyway and just wish everyone a good evening, give some good cheer. This is Valentine's Day weekend. I see I have one person join. Hello, how are you? Thanks for joining Singing Tips. 3 people. Hello, good evening. Welcome to Singing Tips. Hi, Erica. How are you? Wow, it's so good to see you here in Singing Tips. It's been a while. Congratulations on your new job. I hope it's going well. We miss you at Moody's. But I know, you have to do what you have to do and move on to bigger and better things. So I hope all is well. Thanks so much for joining me today, this evening, for Singing Tips. We are in a new section. Oh, yes, thank you. Good. I hope you're having a good weekend, good Valentine's Day weekend. Oh, yes. And you know what? Sometimes change is good. I'm a type of person that don't like change, but, sometimes change for the better can be a good thing. So, give me 1 second. I see there's a little problem here. Sorry. So, yeah, this is Singing Tips. So, every week I give singing tips to beginner singers to help them become professional. And, we have had several different sections. We talked about talent, we've talked about live music, we've talked about original music, and now we're talking about image. And so all of the tips in this section is going to be about image. Last week we kicked off the image section with the introduction, and we talked about the 3 parts to your image, which is your appearance, communication, and behavior. So we broke down those items, and if you're interested in that conversation, you can check the Singing Tip blog. It has all of the singing tips. Also on YouTube, Benita Charles. Go to my YouTube channel, and all the videos are there. So we're going to talk about your image this week. Now, before I go into that, I just want to, if you're new to Singing Tips, just want to give you a little bit of background on how it's organized. So I was inspired to do the Singing Tips because I had several singers who didn't know what to do, and they just wanted to know, how can I get started? What do I need to do? And so I decided to do a Singing Tips kind of series from my experience as a singer. And I was inspired by a movie, The Story of James Brown, Get On Up. Every week, as I told you, I'm going to keep talking about this movie because, I see I'm having some hair issues. Sorry. I'm going to keep talking about this movie because it was very inspiring to me. First of all, I love James Brown, and the actor who played James Brown made me feel like I was actually watching his life unfold. The concert scenes, I felt like I was at a James Brown concert, so that alone was the best. But one of the things that a really important point that I got out of the movie was James Brown was a businessman as well as an artist, and his manager was trying to discourage him from that because he said, you know what, this is show business. You take care of the show, I take care of the business. And James Brown said, no, and he did both. So when I was thinking about Singing Tips, I was thinking about my experience. I've always focused on the show. I've always focused on my voice. I've had training and, live performances or whatever. But I never really thought about the business part of it. And that's just as important as the show part. So the way we design the Singing Tips is we have a show part, we have a business part. Now, we've pretty much have gone through a lot of the show part. This section that we're on now is the end of the show part, and we'll be going into the business part. But right now we're still in the show part, and we're talking about image. This is called Your Image, this section. And so last week, like I said, we kicked off the image section with an introduction. This week, I thought I'd talk about self-image. Now, it's kind of interesting because you're probably thinking, self-image, what does that have to do with music? But I posted something on Tuesday, which is Tuesday, usually I do inspirational things. Monday and Wednesday is more like success and career. But Tuesday is a day that I usually post like a personal inspiration. So this quote from Tuesday was right on point in terms of what we're talking about today. So the quote is, love yourself first and everything else falls into place. And it was spoken by Lucille Ball, the famous comedian. But I thought that was such a wonderful quote because that's kind of what we're touching on today, self-image. Self-image is the most important image that you have because this is how you see yourself. This is your self-image. And when we talk about music and we talk about as a performer, self-image is where it starts, because we started in the first section. We started with your talent, but how you feel about yourself and how you see self-esteem is how you feel about yourself, and self-image is how you see yourself. If you see yourself in a negative light, you're not going to do the things you need to do to take care of yourself so that you can be a great performer, so that you can have a great performance. So that's the kind of things that I wanted to touch on today in terms of your self-image. So the first thing I have for a healthy self-image is to take care of yourself. And that means take care of your health, which is exercise, getting proper rest, nutrition, making sure you eat right. Because all of those things will help you take care of your voice. Oh, hello, John. How are you? Thanks for joining. So we're talking about self-image because we're in the image section here at Singing Tips, and we're talking about your self-image in terms of how you see yourself. Now, and I have 3 tips on how to have a healthier self-image if you don't have one. Now, the interesting thing about self-image for me, this is the area that I need to work on, I feel like, for myself. So I'm not telling you anything that don't need for myself, is what I'm saying. Self-image is something that I've struggled with all my life, and if anyone's out there that's struggling with that from whatever reason, just know that you're not alone. And from experience, I would say that it gets better with age. As you get older, you learn some things, and I feel like things have been revealed in terms of how I see myself. I do see myself in a healthier way. And I know I'll go into that a little bit later in terms of how I know about that. But I would like to say that don't give up. If you are struggling with, self-esteem or low self-image, it gets better. You have to do introspections. It's hard to be me. I love to do impersonations. It's hard to be me. That's interesting that you should say that. Hi, Anthony. It's interesting you should say that because I'm an artist and I'm an actress and a singer, and I know that part of... Hi, Dina. Thanks for joining Singing Tips. We're talking about self-image in terms of your art. And so we're talking about, I'm giving like some healthy ways on how if you're struggling with self-image and self-esteem, some healthy ways to get better. And it's important in terms of your self-esteem, in terms of your career, because it starts with you. It starts within. If you don't feel good about yourself, you're not gonna have a good career. You're not gonna have a good life. So I think that this is one of the most important things that you need to do for yourself. And Anthony, I'm sorry, somebody was just saying, I think it was John, he was just saying that he likes to do impersonations because he don't like to be himself. And I know as an actress, that's one of the things that I enjoy, and as an actress, is being another character. And I think that's not a bad thing, because when you're impersonating someone else, or when you're acting, it's sort of like you still have to have a part of yourself, but that other character takes on. And it's funny that you say that, because I always felt more comfortable on stage than I felt in real life. And I think that's part of that whole thing, what John was saying about, I feel more comfortable being someone else. But I've learned that real life is important, and I used to just live for the stage. It was like all about the stage, and it didn't matter about anything else. And I don't think that's a healthy way to live. I think you still have to live in the real world. I think you still have to have a healthy sense of yourself, of who you are. And sometimes step away from the impersonations, step away from the stage, and be you. Because you know what? You are a unique person. There's no one else like you. And you matter. You are important. And I think sometimes when you kind of feel like, oh, I'd rather be on stage, or I'd rather be someone else, that's kind of like negating yourself. And you still have to have a strong sense of yourself, even as an actor, even as an impersonator. You still have to, that's my personal belief, and I think just from experience as well, that it's so important to still be yourself. Celebrate you, because you have something unique. There's no one else in this world like you. There's no one else that can bring to your art like you. So, I just feel like it was important for me to do this tip before we go into the other things about appearance and all the other stuff. I think it starts with this. It starts with even all the other tips I gave before, the talent, the live performance. This self-image is so important, because it's gonna make a difference how you proceed with your career, with your life. So I just feel like I really felt like I wanted to highlight the fact that you really need a self-image. He says, I have the same birthday as Michael Jackson. Gifted. Oh, are you? So you're an impersonator. Oh, that's great, John. That's awesome. But yeah, so I want you to think about what you said, though. You said that you're an impersonator, and you feel you'd rather do that than be yourself. And I just think that you still have to step out of the impersonations and be you, and be the best you can be. So that's what this tip is all about, is your self-image. And I have the most important image. This is your self-image. And so these are 3 ways to have a healthier self-image. So first one was take care of yourself, keep up with your health, exercise, proper rest, nutrition. Now, I'm not perfect. I'm telling you these tips. These are things I have to remind myself, especially the rest part, because I have a tendency not to get rest, and it throws my whole week off. And, so I'm telling you things that I need to say to myself. Exercise, proper rest, eating right, proper nutrition. And I have to take care of your voice. So all of these things, if you do this will help you have a healthy voice. And it's all about, as a performer, you got to make sure you're well rested. You got to make sure you are in, optimum health, because you need that. You have to be healthy to do anything. Health is number 1. So number 2, I have continue to hone your craft and learn your industry. this is going to help you have the confidence you need to do what you need to do. And this is going to help you feel good about yourself, because when you have confidence in what you're doing, it helps you feel good about yourself. The worst thing is you feel like you don't know what you're doing, or you don't feel prepared, and you go in a situation and you don't have the confidence, and that doesn't make you feel any better. So I'm giving you tips on just how to have that healthy self-esteem. And I have the third one. I have value yourself and your time. Learn to say no without guilt. Value your opinion over what others think of you. So I think the most important opinion is the opinion you have of yourself. I have be nice to yourself. Now, this is something that I need to work on, and I've written a speech about it. If you some of you may remember the speech that I wrote called "I Want a Divorce," and that was I want a divorce from my inner critic, because I have this inner critic that just is relentless sometimes, and it just it's not nice to me. So I have be nice to yourself and allow yourself to shine. Put your best foot forward. So I just feel like it was really important to highlight this, because before we go into any of the other tips on appearance or on image, I just thought that, this is where it all starts, is how you feel about yourself, how you see yourself, and taking care of yourself, feeling good about yourself, giving yourself some positive self-talk instead of putting yourself down, making sure you're kind of like setting yourself up to win by being healthy, by honing your craft, by listening to positive things, praying, meditating, whatever, however you get in touch with your spiritual side. And I just think that these things are so important for an artist and anyone who, anybody really, not just artists, but, because it's a singing tips, we're focusing on the arts. But this is something that I still work on too, in terms of self-image. And oh, hi Ron, how are you? Thanks for joining. So today we're talking about self-image, because, this is the image section, but I just feel like I want to highlight everyone to take care of themselves, because if you're not healthy, if you're not happy, you're not going to have a good career, you're not going to have a good life. So it's all about doing the things that you need to do to take care of yourself. Now earlier I mentioned to you guys that this is something that I struggle with throughout my life, is self-esteem and self-image. Good evening, how are you? But I noticed that if there's anyone out there that's having the same issues, I want to tell you that it gets better. It gets better with age, but it just gets better because you get to a point where, like I said, I know that I've gotten better because I can say no without feeling guilty. I can say no to someone that I know that I can't do something and not feel like, especially if it's something that's not good for me, I can now say no and not feel bad about it. And I said to myself, okay, I must be getting better. And I'm not as, hard on myself. And I try to do the things I need to do to make sure that I'm going to be successful. Like, rehearsing and, doing these singing tips, helping someone else. That makes me feel great, that I'm giving back. So that's a good thing. And, thank you for the hearts or thumbs up. Appreciate it. But yes, it's important. I just really wanted to highlight this because your self-image and how you treat yourself, how you take care of yourself. Hi, Mia. How are you, girl? Wow, it's so good to see you on Singing Tips. Thanks so much for joining. Today we're talking about self-image as it relates to you as an artist or whatever career you want to do. I just feel like it was something important that I wanted to highlight, and that's your self-image. Because this whole section we're talking about image. We're going to be talking about other things, but I think that this is the most important image, is your self-image. Taking care of yourself. How do you feel about yourself? So I had 3 healthy ways for your self-image. The first one was to take care of yourself. Make sure you keep your health up, exercise, proper rest, nutrition. I mean, these are all basic things, but sometimes we tend to forget. Sometimes when we get busy in our lives, we tend to forget that this is important, because I know as a vocalist, if I'm not healthy, my voice is not healthy. So it was really important to stay healthy. So number 2 was to continue to hone your craft and learn your industry. This is going to help you become a better, whatever it is you're doing, a better singer, a better performer. Learning your industry is going to, knowledge is power. So you'll be able to go through your career, knowledgeable and, with a clear direction. Number 3 is value yourself and your time. Learn to say no without guilt. And I have value your own opinion over what others think about you. Now, this is something that, I struggled with growing up, because growing up, it was kind of like, I wanted to know what other people thought. But as I got older, I realized the most important opinion is how I feel about myself. If I don't feel good about myself, it really doesn't matter what anyone else thinks. I mean, the most important opinion is what you think of yourself. And normally, when you're so worried about what other people think, you're not feeling good about yourself. Because I noticed the better you feel about yourself, the less you care about what other people think. And especially if it's not positive. So, be nice to yourself. I had a tendency to be really hard on myself, and it's just, not fair. I was easy on other people, but horrible on myself, and that's not fair. You have to take care of yourself. And then I have allow yourself to shine. Put your best foot forward. And if you do all these things, I feel like you will put your best foot forward. So self-image is the most important image. And I started out with a quote, and I like to end with this quote. It's Lucille Ball said, "Love yourself first, and everything else falls into place." And I thought that was an awesome quote. I actually posted this on Tuesday, not realizing it correlated with what today's topic on singing tips. So self-image is the most important image. Now, it's 10 o'clock, so I'm going to have to go. But I want to wish everyone a happy Valentine's Day coming up. I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful day of love, laughter, and joy. Thank you so much for joining me for Singing Tips. I hope that this was helpful. Please let me know if it is. I'm looking for testimonials, so if Singing Tips is helpful to you, please let me know in the comments, and if you don't mind me using them for promotional purposes. But I want to know if this is helpful to you, because it really does help me. I really appreciate you guys. Thank you so much for the hearts. I hope you have a wonderful Valentine's Day coming up, and a wonderful weekend. And I'll see you next time on Singing Tips. As I said before, the Singing Tips blog is on Instagram, BCM Sings. Click on the link. It links to the Singing Tips blog. On YouTube, I archive the videos on YouTube, so you can see all the other singing tips. But thank you guys so much. I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful Valentine's Day, and I'll see you next time.